Across the country, bridges are in crisis.
We found 734 bridges across the state have been deemed structurally deficient, also known as poor.
Sometimes bridges get targeted for replacement. Like anything else, they have an end of life. For most Massachusetts bridges, that's about 75 years.
Maintaining and building bridges is more important than ever. New fixes for old bridges are being tested in western Massachusetts.
This is a huge milestone, I think, in terms of repair of corroded steel bridges.
Meanwhile, in Boston, newer bridges are winning praise for their strength and style.
You really have to have a strong vision and a strong concept from the very beginning that you're willing to fight for, because otherwise it will get derailed.
This is Chronicle on WCVB Channel 5.
Throughout time, bridges have been symbols of unity and progress, connecting things that once stood apart, whether they're grand city landmarks, quiet, covered crossings, or historic works of stone, like Newton's Echo Bridge. And some bridges aren't just functional, they're showcases of design.
We need design excellence for bridges. I think of bridges, I think of them as great works of engineering, but even more as great works of culture.
Okay, you want me to sign all of them?
It's tough to single out one person's impact on Boston's cityscape, but when it comes to bridges, Miguel Rosales is top of mind for many.
When you bring in somebody like a Miguel, that means that you're working on a project that is going to be iconic.
Rosales is a renowned bridge designer and architect who helms his own firm, Rosales Plus. In 1985, he came to Boston from Guatemala to study architecture and urban design at MIT.
Boston is my city. I've been here over 40 years. How these bridges have changed so many parts of the city that is, a very important part of my life.
Rosales is behind 12 bridges in Boston alone, not to mention countless others in the U.S. and abroad.
I'm being able to design bridges that are not only functional and cost-effective, people have embraced them, in many places where they have been built.
The Francis Appleton Pedestrian Bridge on the Esplanade, the new Bill Russell Bridge in Charlestown, the Fore River Bridge spanning Quincy and Weymouth, not to mention bridges in Panama City, New York City, Washington, D.C., Iowa, and South Carolina. Then there is his first and most famous work, the Leonard P. Zakim Bunker Hill Memorial Bridge.
People always ask me, are the cables working? And definitely they are.
At Boston's Institute for Contemporary Art, a standing room only crowd listens to Rosales discuss his new book, Bridges as Structural Art.
I have a great deal of respect and appreciation for his talent and his vision.
It's inspiring to hear him talk about how bridges don't necessarily have to be solely functional. They can also be like a focal point for the city.
Rosales sees bridges as sculptures for a landscape with long-term impact on a community.
It's very important to always think about the context, about proportions, about lighting, aesthetics. All of those components are really what the public really care about. They expect the bridge to work and to function, but they also would like something extra.
Slenderness is a common thread in Rosales' designs. Using less material has benefits while still being safe, he says.
If you use less material, then the bridge will be cheaper. Also, when you have less material and it's a light structure, then the bridge will look more elegant and better suited, for the condition where it is.
Construction of the Zakim Bridge began in 1998 and was completed in 2003. As lead architect, Rosales worked with famed Swiss bridge engineer Christian Menn. They were tasked with redoing the city's already approved, unpopular design for a massive highway interchange.
If you're going to do something new and exciting, I felt that could be the place where you could try it.
Rosales says this lost mile of the Charles River was a perfect opportunity for the city's first cable-stayed bridge, one of the widest in the world.
First, the two towers were built, and then you started to stitch cable by cable, and the pieces of steel were added incrementally.
On this day, Rosales leads conference goers from the American Institute of Architects on a tour. He explains the Zakim's visual nods to the Bunker Hill Monument and how white cables complement the marine environment.
You see there's some light coming through. That's because there could be some openings in the deck. So when you're in a boat, you can see up and look at the towers.
Just across the way is the new Bill Russell Bridge, which draws inspiration from the Zakim.
40% of the width of the bridge is dedicated to pedestrians and bicycles and landscaping, which makes it quite unique. That percentage is very high, is the highest in the city of Boston.
We, the city of Boston, understand that without his leadership, our city would look a lot different. It would be a little less beautiful.
Boston City Councilor Sharon Durkin says Rosales' designs bolster civic pride.
It's a wonderful testament to his love for Boston and the fact that he continues to do things all over the world, but that Boston is his home and he cares a lot about what he designs here.
That's kind of a blessing, you know, in my life, that many of my ideas have been realized and also changed people's life in many ways, you know, once the bridges are complete.
Oh, what an incredible talent, really unbelievable. And just a week ago, July 9th, Boston City Council recognized Miguel Rosales Day. Councilor Durkin honored him in front of his family. These are the photos in front of his family, friends, and colleagues. A great, great honor for him.
Just awesome. And you may recall, we first featured Rosales on Chronicle in 2021 when we were featuring his Beacon Hill Shade Garden. Well, it comes as no surprise to anyone that he has won multiple awards for home garden design.
The man can design.